How the narcissist begins to isolate people. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So isolation, right before you really knew what it meant, you probably thought it was a person who was stuck on a desert island or in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and they didn't have water and they were all by themselves and they couldn't figure out how to get out of where they were. Well, now you know what isolation is. It's not only real, it's in your mind, but it's all around you. You see, this is what the narcissist did. They infiltrated your life. They learned all about you. They got as close to you as they possibly could, and then they began to work on you from the inside out, using everything about you that you told them, you shared with them, you showed them, you educated them, you taught them. They would turn all that around against you. This is how, when you first meet the narcissist, many times they come at you so lovingly, apparently, so kind and so generous and so thoughtful, and they're really giving you a lot of their attention in the very beginning. Why do you think somebody would do that, knowing what you now know? That's right, it's because that person is a predator, and they were trying to love bomb you, if you will, or give you a lot of attention, or focus really diligently on you and what you were saying, and watch your mannerisms and the way you used your words, and if you raised your eyebrows, or if you changed the inflection of your voice or not. They were studying you. They were mirroring you. They were mimicking you. They were figuring out how to carbon copy you and make you a part of them, and make you become a shell of yourself, an extension of them. This is why you became the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the sounding board, all the terms that I've used over the years and more, because you lost your identity. And what the narcissist did is they began to slowly isolate you. They began to isolate you. Here are plenty of examples. Let's take the workplace bully / narcissistic boss or coworker. Maybe you were driving to work and you were at that company for years, and maybe one of your bosses who turned out to be the narcissist, maybe they were having their eyes on you because you were doing too well in the company and you were not in their department, let's say, or maybe even you were, but for this example, let's say you weren't. Well, what did? They would call you the next new shining, the next new superstar, the next new star. You're the star of the company. You're amazing. You do so much. Why don't you come join my team? I think it'd be great. You ever hear that before? Sure you have. I have many times. So what do? They lure you into working with them or on their team, because all they're trying to do is get you cornered in a place that you're unfamiliar with, which is the narcissistic fog, trapped in a workplace relationship. And you were, let's say, when you didn't join them, let's say you were free, you had autonomy, you could do whatever you wanted to do. Well, you joined this person's team, and now they are ruling with an iron fist. You now have no time for yourself. You're being bookended, which means Friday night at 4:58, you're being given a whole bunch of work to do over the weekend, and Monday morning, your phone's being blown up, or Sunday night, your phone's being blown up because where are you at? Are you ready for tomorrow's meeting? What are you doing? I can't believe you didn't get back to me. Send me the reports. Where's a PDF? Did you prepare this? Did you do my speech? Did you read it 3 times? Did you make sure everything I'm going to say is proper? See, they wanted you doing things for them. And what were they doing? They were isolating you from the department you used to work in, and you were thriving. Now you're being subservient to this person, the narcissistic boss. And I just spent a lot of time on that, but that's one example. When the narcissist tries to isolate you, and I'll give you many more examples, it's not a good thing. There's not one good thing about the word isolation, unless you are self-isolating. And that's when you are in a place that I call the cocoon of boundaries. And I was there for quite a long period of time. You probably are there, or you were there, or you're about to be there. That's when you don't necessarily feel like going out and, let's say, engaging with the general public, because you're healing, because you've learned about what narcissism is, and you want to have a small footprint, and you want to be in that cocoon of boundaries as long as it's necessary. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a necessary step on the healing path. But that's for a different video. Another example is how when the narcissist begins to isolate people. Think about this. Maybe you were part of a hobby group. Maybe you went to join the gym and you were a member of the gym for a couple of years, and you had friends and workout buddies, and you knew everyone who worked there, and you were one of the family. It was great. Well, lo and behold, this stranger comes in to join the gym. Yes, the narcissist. Again, you didn't know what narcissism was, and now they are looking at you in the gym, and they're realizing that a lot of people know you. A lot of people look up to you. A lot of people respect your physique or your mentality or the way you share your empathy or the way you want to help people, because you're not just in the gym to exercise, you're actually paying it forward now because you're in good shape, let's say it that way. Well, the narcissist sees that and they're like, wait, this is a main person here in the gym. They're an important person, and they're not even an employee. Huh, what do I have to do here? Oh, I know what to do. I'll start parking my car next to their car. As soon as I figure out what car they drive, I'll start parking mine next to theirs. I'll start mirroring whenever they go to the gym. I'll start taking the same classes they take, and I will start appearing wherever they are. And slowly that person, who is the innocent gym person who was going to the gym, they will catch my eye, and next thing you know, I'll turn that from protein bars to lunch, from lunch to dinner, from dinner to who knows what. And then before you knew it, and then this is an example, before you knew it, you, the person who was going to the gym, now you're not really being talked to as much as you used to. All the people that you were helping out, they're kind of giving you the cold shoulder. Doors are being closed on you, not physical doors, but you can feel the emotional doors being closed. People aren't laughing at your jokes as much. They're not as open to communicate with you. They're unavailable. They're changing the classes they take. They're changing their opinion of you, but you don't know what's going on. You have no idea. Well, what just happened is you got too close to an apex predator, yes, the narcissist, and they began to plant seeds of doubt all throughout that gym, saying that you're not the special one, that you're the one that taught them everything they know, or they don't really know that much. And they would be spreading lies about you, untruths about you, using the smear campaign. Next thing you know, the person that you let into your life, or I should say that was spying on you and stalking you, yes, the narcissist, next thing you know, they're not talking to you. And now you don't even want to go to the gym, and you can't figure it out what's going on because it used to be the safest space for you. You loved it. Well, now no one's really talking to you. No one's blowing up your phone or calling you. The narcissists themselves have taken your spot, and now everyone's talking to them for the latest exercise, or how they lost 10 pounds or gained 3 pounds of muscle, or what they're eating, etc. See, you've just been replaced. And that's how the narcissist steals people's identity. It's how they isolate people. Those are 2 long examples for you. I'll share a couple quicker ones, but the narcissist is a master of isolation. What about this? Let's say you were married to the narcissist and you were living under the same roof. Of course, you were paying the bills, cooking, cleaning, being the chauffeur, making sure all the magazines were straightened out, making sure every window was Windexed, and making sure that every spoon, knife, and fork was placed properly in its drawer. On top of all those things, what you were doing is you were probably doing your best to fix an unfixable relationship and tolerate the poor behaviors of the narcissist. Yes, it's called, I fumbled one of my words, but you didn't know what narcissism was. So in that house, let's say that you lived with a couple other people, whoever they are. That could be your family members, they could be your kids, they could be extended family members. I don't know who it is. It could be some friends. If I didn't say that, who knows? But wherever you were living, next thing you know, those people are laughing it up with your partner or your spouse, who turns out to be the narcissist, or your roommate, who's the narcissist, whoever you're considering. And they're giving you the cold shoulder. All of them are. And you're like, what's going on? I introduced you people together. What is this? How come you guys, every time I walk in the room, it's being really quiet, like no one's talking to me? And you know that weird, really weird sensation when you walk in a room and people are laughing it up and talking, and all of a sudden they go, kind of do that thing? Well, that's what the narcissist does. And where do you think that comes from? Ding, ding, ding. That's right. It comes from the narcissist. To make people feel awkward, to isolate people, to make people feel like they are talking about them when in fact they are, and to devalue people. This is where it all comes from. It all stems from narcissism. It's not just 2 people at a coffee. It's not just 2 people at a cocktail party talking, and then somebody walks up and then they change the topic because the one person is going to have a surprise birthday party next week. No, that's not what it is. What it is the narcissist trying to divide and conquer and isolate you from your support system and isolate you from anything that matters to you. So when the narcissist begins to isolate people, you will now notice this with your newfound superpower because A, it happened to you. B, I just gave you 3 or 4 examples right there. But more importantly, you will see how people are treated with other people or by other people. The narcissist, they run on a very high fuel tank and a very low fuel tank, which means when they're topped up with supply, they appear to be on cloud 9, on top of the world. They're boisterous, they're laughing it up, they're blending in, but it's overkill. Now flip it, when they don't have supply, they are literally the most miserable people you'll ever meet in your life. Having said that, the narcissist cannot sustain themselves. They cannot regulate themselves. That's why they're always super high or super low, and that's what's called the high-low push-pull. Push-pull is when they push you away and they pull you back in because they can't regulate themselves. So that's why every narcissistic relationship, A, has an expiration date, B, it's like you're walking on eggshells, and C, you're on a roller coaster of abuse, but you didn't know any of these things in the past. Again, you weren't taught this in school. And if you hear crunching, there's ice in the ground. And yes, Nelson and Noah are here with me, but I believe they're in front of the camera. I'll try to get them in a video later today or tomorrow. Having said all these things, when the narcissist begins to isolate people, it's like I shared earlier. It's that strange sensation. You can't put your finger on it, but you know that people aren't really talking to you that much, or they're not laughing at your jokes, or they're not looking at you or engaging with you. Take the workplace bully again. Prime example right here. Let's say you all had lunch at 12 o'clock. From 12 to 1, you had lunch. Well, maybe you would all go to the break room and sit down and have lunch. And maybe you would split a pizza or get something from the vending machine or bring your own lunch, whatever you would do. Well, you probably had a table full of people, maybe 2, 3, 4 people, and you'd laugh it up and do whatever employees do at the workplace. Well, when you find yourself at that table for one, and the other people are at another table in the other corner of the mess hall or the cafeteria, you know something's off, specifically when you did nothing. Well, there's your narcissistic relationship, and I can assure you, the narcissist was in that building, maybe even in that cafeteria when you were there, but you didn't realize it. And it may not have even been the narcissist you were thinking. You see, remember, the narcissist loves discomfort. They love misery. They love commotion. They love drama. They love misdirection, and they love manipulation. Above all, for this video, they love to isolate people. They want to keep people out of the loop, which leads me to this part of the video. How many times did the narcissist tell you, hey, I'm going to tell you a secret, but don't tell anybody, or I'm going to tell you this, but don't tell anybody, or I'm not supposed to say this, but those are divisions. When somebody tells you that, and they are keeping secrets from other people. Now, of course, this is barring a medical concern, like let's say somebody got a prognosis or a diagnosis that it's not going to go well. Well, that's a very delicate matter. I get that. But I'm talking a day-to-day life, like average everyday planting seeds, that kind of thing. Well, the narcissist does that. So they want to tell group A all about whatever so-and-so did. They tell group B what so-and-so did, a different version. They tell group C that group A thought that group B thought that group C's version was wrong. See, they misdirect everybody. It's a circus of abuse. The narcissist, like I shared with you a couple months ago, they are a clown in a circus on a unicycle. Unicycle has one wheel, and they are juggling multiple bowling pins at any one time. The bowling pins that the narcissist / clown in the circus of abuse on the unicycle are juggling, those are relationships. And the relationships could be people from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Could be people they just met, people they're stalking on social media. Could be their own kids. Could be their neighbor, their roommate. Could be their business associate. I can't tell you who it is. But the narcissist is envious and jealous of everybody. And the narcissist can never, ever be satiated or satisfied with any one accomplishment or achievement, whether they took it, stole it, borrowed it, or copied it. They can never sit back and say, wow, that was great. I'm good. I'm in a great spot. No, they don't do that. Why? Because the sun rises. There's the sun for all of us beautiful, bright, shining lights. And yes, you are one, and of course I'm one. But because the sun rises tomorrow, the narcissist has a clean slate, and they don't think about what they did yesterday. Yesterday's gone for them. They don't even care about yesterday. They think of it, oh, the sun rose today. All right, it's a new day. I can abuse new people, manipulate new people. Whose life will I destroy today? Who will be on my radar? What they do is they get out the big map, like if you go back to those detective movies or the whodunit movies with the police departments and the detectives and all those people, they have the big whiteboard and they have all the diagrams and the villains in the top left with an arrow drawn down to the accomplice to the top right, that's the accomplice's neighbor, and there are a couple thugs and criminals. In the bottom right corner is the target. That's what the narcissist does. Now, you may think that's a little dramatic. No, it's not. It's what these people do. It's what they've been doing long before you figured out what narcissism is. It's what they've been doing long before I figured it out. It's what they've always been doing. So let's say that the narcissist won $1 million today, or they just stole, probably a better example. They stole $1 million from somebody today, maybe through an inheritance. They changed the signature on the inheritance, or they bullied their siblings into getting it, or the divorce, or whatever they did. Say they stole that money, or they confiscated it, however you want to say it. Anyway, they did it. They didn't do it above board, because the narcissist does nothing above board. But let's say they got that. Well, do you think that tomorrow they're going to be sitting back and saying, yeah, I did it. I won. Everything's great. No, they're not going to do that. What they're going to do is trying to find a way to spend that money as fast as possible or hide it. And they're going to go right back to work and try and get another $1 million, heck, maybe even $2 million. I don't know. What I do know is they can never just be. Think about this before I get ready to close the video. When you were in the narcissistic relationship, yes, still being isolated, whether you didn't even know it because you were living with the narcissist perhaps, and you would be on the couch, chilling, taking it easy. Maybe it was a Thursday afternoon at about 5:30, and you just had a long day of work, and you're just decompressing, and you put your work computer down, your cell phone down, and maybe you turned on the TV and just to unplug and just have background noise. Well, then you hear the carport, a little motion in the carport. You know it's the narcissist car. Again, you don't know it's the narcissist is the narcissist. What do? You don't dare sit down and act like you're watching TV, because if you dare do that, they're going to think you've been doing it all day. You didn't even go to work. And you could prove to them you went to work, and they won't even care because they saw you sitting on the couch, and in their tiny little pea brain, they equate that with you doing absolutely nothing, which is why the narcissist is always on the go, which is why the narcissist can't sit still, which is why the narcissist is always in competition. But using that example, if you heard the carport, a little motion in the carport, you would jump right up immediately. You would act like you just got home. You would turn the TV off. You would act like you're just putting your briefcase or book bag or whatever it was down, or acting like you're just taking your shoes off, because you would act like you weren't, you would have to act like you were busy, because if you were just being, as in be, you had the ability to just be, narcissists couldn't take that. They needed you doing something. The narcissist needed you to be busy, busy, busy. And many times the narcissist themselves is extremely busy, but what are they doing? Absolutely nothing. Zero. What the narcissist wants to do is go from here to there, return this, buy this, put it on layaway. It doesn't fit. I'll bring it back in 3 months. I will forget my receipt intentionally, or I would have never bought it there. I would have claimed the policy from 5 years ago said this, when in fact the policy's expired. They will do whatever they need to do to disrupt anybody's energy, and people who work in a department store are no different. Those people actually, just like people in call centers, they have it very challenging because they have, A, they need their jobs like we all do, but B, they know that they're being listened to and going to be reviewed. And so that's why the narcissist does what they do. The narcissist preys, P-R-E-Y-S, upon the vulnerable, the naive, the people who are uneducated, and people who can't do anything about what the narcissist is doing to them. So using that example I just shared with you, like say it's the barista in the coffee shop. Barista needs their job just like we all do. And the narcissist maybe goes in there every day, and maybe one day the barista says, "Hey, usual?" And the narcissist is like, "Yeah, sure." Well, they give the narcissist the usual. Of course, the barista doesn't know the narcissist is the narcissist. And then the narcissist says, "No, I don't want this. What are you talking about? I don't drink this anymore. You should know that." See, you can't win when you're with these people. That's why you need to get as far away from them as fast as you possibly can. Hey, Nelson, as far away from them as you possibly can. And that's why I create videos every day, so you can eventually get the wisdom and go no contact and block that person. Maybe today's the day, maybe it's tomorrow. But I'll finish this isolation video up when I just did when you're at your house and the carport happens, because you were being isolated in your own house. Nobody knew what was happening to you when you were in your house. You knew something was wrong, but you didn't know because you didn't know there were definitions to all the behaviors you were experiencing. You didn't know that narcissism existed. So I will close the video before sharing this part. Using the couch example, it was a Thursday afternoon at 5:30. You're sitting on the couch, just taking it easy after a hard day of work. Carport, you hear somebody. Well, whether you know it or not, you're being isolated because you were doing something for another person that nobody even knew about, because if you didn't, you'd be abused. If you did, you would be abused. Nobody saw it. So this is a silent form of abuse, you being isolated in your own house. You were not being yourself. This is how, I'm proving it right now. I can prove this 10 different thousand ways till Sunday. You were being a shell of yourself. You were being an extension of the narcissist. You were not being yourself, using that example. And you were being isolated. You were left and abandoned on that island of abuse in the ocean of manipulation. And you may say, well, how is it being isolated if I was sitting on my couch after I came home from work, and as soon as I heard the carport or the car run into the garage, I jumped up and started doing things? It's because you weren't being yourself. If you were being yourself, you could just be on the couch. And what would the narcissist have done? If they were a healthy, stable person, and they're not, they would have walked in that door, sat right next to you, giving you a big hug and a kiss. If it's a romantic relationship, if it's a friend, they would have sat down on the couch or a chair and said, "Wow, what a day. How was your day? How's it going? Everything good? Do you want to go grab some food, or do you want to just get some order in here? Or how was your day? Tell me what's going on. I'm just grateful to be home." You're not going to get that. With the narcissist, you're going to be punished. That's why the narcissist is always watching you. They're always observing you. They are everywhere all over the planet, and they look for people who haven't cracked the code, who haven't figured out what narcissism is. And they also look for people who haven't healed, and they also look for people who haven't gone no contact, because those people perhaps think they're strong enough they can handle the narcissist. The narcissist will rear their ugly head any chance they get. And usually when the narcissist rears their ugly head via Hoover, it's because you crossed their mind for some reason. Maybe you crossed their mind yesterday, maybe it was a day ago, maybe it was 3 months ago, I can't tell you. Maybe somebody just brought up your name in a coffee shop, I don't know. But that's why you need to become unhooverable, get off the radar of the narcissist. And this is how the narcissist begins to isolate people. That's how it starts. It always starts with isolation. The narcissist takes you away from your friend groups, from your hobbies, from your sleep, from your job, from your exercise, from what foods you liked, from the clothes you wore. They were shaping or reshaping or remolding or molding you into whatever they wanted you to be. And once they did that and they took whatever they could, next thing you know, here comes the discard. And that's not what you want to experience. You don't want to experience the narcissistic relationship, and certainly not the discard. But again, we were both in the cycle. And once we were in it, we didn't know where we were. But now that we know that we were in it, we're out. And once we're out, we stay out and we heal and heal properly. But understand something. Isolation is one of the key ingredients that makes the narcissist so deadly. Isolation is one of the key ingredients that makes the narcissist so lethal. And isolation is something that most people on the planet will never even know that you went through, because to the exterior, to most people on the planet, they just thought you were in a relationship that went sideways. What's the big deal? Just get out there, start dating. It wasn't that bad. Who cares? What's your problem? It's been a year. It's been 2 years, whatever. It's not the way it works, people. And the people that are judging you, those people better pray. And I mean pray that they never meet the narcissist. Not the one you're considering. I'm saying any narcissist, because it's all fun and games for somebody to play Monday morning quarterback or armchair quarterback or backseat driver and claim that it's so easy to heal and what's the big deal, until you've been through it. When you've been through it, it changes your life. I am changed forever, and that's why I create videos every day, because I pay it forward to those people who do know that they need help, and for those people who have no idea that they need help, and that's why they find the channel. The channel finds you, truth be told. You didn't find this channel, it found you, and it's meant to find you. It's meant to educate you, give you purpose, have you believe in yourself, and realize that the days of isolation are over. The narcissists themselves will be isolated. They probably are right now. Again, I'll just end it like this. They lost the best thing they will ever have in you. Whether you were discarded or you ended it, any way you cut it, you're out or you're about to get out. They will never replace you, and they know it. They will never find another beautiful, bright, shining light like you, and they know it. And they also know that they will continue to slither their way through life doing what? That's right, isolating their targets. That's why once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And definitely, once you experience it, you can't unexperience it. That's why you need to get off the radar of these people and get as far and as fast away from them as possible. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And it's cold. It's not as cold. I know the weather reports a little much, but this weekend, from what I am hearing, we may be getting multiple inches of snow. This guy has not seen multiple inches of snow in quite a long time. So OMG, it may be a winter wonderland weekend from the abundance of all time. And I hope actually we get it. Just not a big fan of the below 20-degree temperatures. Having said all that, remember something. You were isolated in the past. My hope is you're not isolated any longer. That's number one. Number two, you need to remember to control what you can control. Why I say that is because it's a very famous adage from Stoicism. There are many things on this planet you can't control. I can't control the weather, but I can control what jacket I wear. I can't control time, but I can control what I do with my time. You need to apply those tools when it comes to the narcissist, which means get away from them. You are in control, not the narcissist. And number three, you need to remember this. Everybody, and I mean everybody, reveals themselves in time. I have, you have, the narcissist has. And as you get older in life, whether you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, all the way up to 130, Everybody will reveal themselves in life. And remember, the betrayal always, and I mean always, comes from people that are close to you or at one point were close with you. That's where the betrayal comes from. Because if you knew that you were in a relationship with an enemy, if you knew that, you wouldn't be in the relationship with them. That's why the narcissist slithers the way into people's lives, learn all about them, and then hurt them, kick them where it hurts the most, or betray them where it's going to do the most damage. The narcissist has been betraying people since long before time began, and they've been isolating people for eons. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved it, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. And I'll get the babies out tomorrow. I'll get the babies. Bye.